We are here for a flagship program organized by Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria. We want to see the audit integrity in the era of AI. AI has come to stay and it is impacting seriously on the quality of audits. This is why we are here today. We are expecting over 500 participants with over 2,000 online participants.
I want to welcome each and every one of us to the 2026 Audit and Assurance Leadership Summit.
It is with great pleasure and a profound sense of responsibility that I welcome you all to this summit. The audit and assurance profession is undergoing one of the most significant transformations in its history. Artificial intelligence is no longer a distant or emerging concept. It's already here. It's already part of our business and, of course, the financial reporting environment. And your attendance here is a strong demonstration of our collective commitment to strengthening integrity, credibility, transparency, and resilience of Nigeria's financial reporting ecosystem.
People are using it to even do audit. People are also using it to oversight the audit process. So whichever way, it helps audit to be more credible.
A credible financial report reduces uncertainty, strengthens confidence, and enables better economic decisions, which supports investment, expands productivity capacity, creates jobs, promotes export, and strengthens sustainable economic growth. Therefore, audit quality and credible financial reporting are directly connected to the federal government's objective of economic diversification, industrialization, trade expansion, investment promotion, and job creation. With a renewed hope agenda which places strong emphasis on strengthening the foundations for sustainable economic growth, expanding productive capacity, attracting investment, and positioning Nigeria's business to compete more effectively in regional and global markets.
Today's professional must combine accounting and auditing expertise with digital literacy, data analytics capabilities, cybersecurity awareness, ethical judgment, and a sound understanding of emerging technologies. Continuous professional development must therefore move beyond traditional competencies to prepare professionals to operate effectively and responsibly in the increasing digital finance reporting ecosystem.
The real question is whether we will deploy technology without surrendering the professional judgment, independence, and ethical responsibility that gives assurance its value. We must ensure that AI strengthens the auditors without weakening the audit, accelerates our work without compromising our judgment, and expands the capabilities without diminishing our accountability.
We are going to look at how we adopt artificial intelligence in audit, how we can maintain the fundamental principles of audit with the use of the technology, how do we also govern the opportunities, challenges, and risks that comes along with it. We are going to wait patiently and implore the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria, and we think that it is time to revisit the Audit Regulations 2020, particularly providing the framework for auditors and assurance providers in the adoption of the artificial intelligence.
The future of audit has already begun. Let us make sure it is built on trusted leadership and sound governance, not just intelligent technology. Nigeria is in the middle of a remarkable digital transformation. Electronic payments are mainstream. Fintech is expanding. AI is entering both public and private sector. We have the chance not to just adopt global best practices, but to help shape them. By strengthening governance, investing in technology assurance, and building professional capacity, Nigeria can become a recognized leader in audit quality across Africa, but only if we prepare for it today.
I believe strongly that organizations should start having a dedicated AI risk and governance framework, separated from your usual risk framework, right? And not just a copy and paste AI risk framework or a governance framework. It should be something that speaks to your organization strategy, your business strategy. What do we stand for as an organization? What's our business vision?
I think sampling of data has always been a human concept. It was limited to what you could do as an auditor. I think that era is going to die. I think there will be infinite knowledge, and that means your data is your data. The AI will simply look at that whole thing as your data. And there's also going to be unlimited internal auditing, where AI systems, AI agents will constantly evolve and just constantly audit you every day, every cycle. They can audit you. And I think those are going to be the two growth areas, in this space, where people are just going to say, look, I have an AI system. There's no such thing as sampling. Here's my entire data system. Just audit it. All my transactions, all the time. It's constantly auditing.
Audit software vendors have started coming up with automated auditing tools that helps us on the go, even while we are not there, to help check data integrity, determine when there are spikes in the database, where there are validation issues, and are able to report that to us. And I think this is a new way to go. We are also seeing some of those audit tools that are also now embedding AI into the way they do things. Our organization need to understand what is the algorithm that has been built into that AI tool that is also helping us to do our audit and assurance checks. Once we are comfortable with what we have done, then I think management can better use the time that they would have had to better do things that have to do with other aspects of our business.
Cyber security incidents are no longer because the network is down. Actually, they occur in real time, and they too have been on the rise. There is a lot of how this affects our reporting and our financial business analysis. How can organizations strengthen the resilience in order to ensure integrity of the information?
There are things you need to do. First of all, you do what we call a business impact analysis. Do an inventory of your systems and determine the kind of risk you are carrying. If a system can stay for 1 day and still run, because for example, a payroll system, if you do it every month, it means even if it goes down, you can wait for 1 month to do it. But your enterprise systems, maybe you have only few hours. So you need to determine all the kind of systems you have in place and determine the amount of risk you are carrying. That will help you to prioritize the controls you should put in place for each of them. Secondly, access control. When we start initially, everything is fine. But by the time we start promoting people, transferring people to different departments, the user access controls you are giving them in the system have to be monitored so that you can maintain segregation of duty. Otherwise, some people will have roles added to what they were doing before and you'll be able to do something they are not supposed to do. So segregation of duties, whether manual or in the system, is very critical. Also, when people are exiting your system, you should have a way of cleaning them out.
It's very difficult for the public to define the role of an auditor and the role of the accountants or the role of the management of the company. So it has been a very challenging one. But now with the AI coming, it's going to be another ballgame.
One thing that perhaps has become a key factor is that the external auditor is seen as someone that has the magic wand. And when I say the magic wand, he is expected to be able to perhaps in his audit process capture everything about the entity that they audit. And so that becomes a challenge because in line with the auditing standards, which the auditors are expected to use as a guide, they are expected to give what you call reasonable assurance as far as their audit process is concerned.
Nigeria will not choose between innovation and integrity. We will insist on innovation with integrity. We will use artificial intelligence to deepen inquiry, not to avoid it, to strengthen controls, not to obscure them, to improve evidence, not to replace it, and to build trust, not simply to simulate it.
So, but when it comes to bridging the gap, continuous education, which we've done, the profession has done in the last 50 years, we need to do more of that to deal with knowledge gap. On the part of the auditors, they need to do more to ensure that quality is embedded in what we do, and we continue to bridge the gap, and that will help to deal with the performance gap. The evolution gap is a different discussion entirely, and that is something that is increasing. In a nutshell, when it comes to bridging that gap, it's a shared responsibility. Investors, companies themselves, the educators, the professional bodies, the regulators, we all have responsibilities to ensure that we deal with the three components of expectation gap to be able to bridge it. We can't eliminate it, but it has to be narrowed.
The auditors provides reasonable assurance, and this is opposed to absolute assurance that is expected by maybe the larger public. That gap is the expectation gap. And when we say reasonable assurance, it just says that the financial statements have been prepared in all, it's not materially misstated in all material respects, it's not materially misstated. That's what it's saying essentially. And that in itself, when you have an unqualified opinion, it's at a particular time. It's not saying that the future viability is guaranteed. It's also not saying that the future health of the organization is also guaranteed. We need more engagement to be able to clearly know that reasonable assurance and absolute assurance are two distinct requirements.
That the regulators expect the auditor to use the standard as a guidance and not the minimum or the maximum limit they should go. But beyond that, we should be asking, how do we resolve this gap? In order to reduce the gap, what we are doing today comes into refocus. There should be constant engagement between the regulators and the auditors. And there should be also alignment of the inspection framework with the auditing standards. And at the end, the inspection framework, that's regulatory too, and standards are not in conflict. They are complementary to ensure that we have credible and reliable financial reports.
How do you strike a balance between economic interest and independence? As a medium and small firms, we need to understand that ethical culture is one of the key things in the profession. And independence is also one of the key traits that is expected. When independence is lost, the whole value of financial reporting is lost. Now, the question is, when you are confronted with this situation where you have instances where you have to uphold independence and also look at your business survival, what do you do? What I'm of the opinion that should be done in such situation is that one, all medium and small businesses should avoid concentration risk.
Sometimes auditors unknowingly make their recommendations, but what you find out is that it may drift into the advisory territory because they've given you those advice. It is now incumbent on management to not only take this advice and proceed to implement them in line and sinker. You have to first internalize it, try to assess it if it meets management assessment of how to provide remedial action on some of the gaps that the auditors have actually recommended, or the gaps and the recommendation they've made to you. But all together, what management must not do is to deflect the responsibility for closing gaps, for try to fully hone the implementation process of all those remedial actions that may have been giving courtesy of insight on the part of auditors. I think this is the way to better approach it.
The question to ask from the angle of the investor, why this blame game straight on, on the auditors? Can we see that as a fair deal? Is it the auditors that should always be held responsible whenever there is a failure, failure in terms of corporate failures?
A failure of an auditor and integrity of an account should not be blamed on external auditors alone. The management and the board is a connivance for you to be able to come out with a bad report. If I employ an auditor and invest in a company 2 months down the line and the company failed, I should be able to hold the auditors responsible because they are the policemen to look into the account of the auditor beyond 1 year. They should look into the company's affairs over 2 years or a period of time to know whether there is any problem before they took over.